Your eyes begin to well up as you grip the yellow paper in your hands. You don't know why honoring this for her makes you feel any better, but it does. You wipe the rogue drop that falls down your cheek and look down at the paper. Thank you for placing your order with Uncanny Cove Curiosities. Please come by the shop to inspect your purchase, then we'll arrange for it to be delivered to the agreed location. Your sister loved to buy strange things from shops you'd never heard of. There was never a time she wasn't without some sort of odd animal skull, ornate tribal decor, or exotic fish. You never understood the appeal, but you loved the uniqueness of her interests. Your throat tightens as you fight back another tear, this time your eyes holding the drops back from spilling. You look up as you approach the corner of Kiln and Cook Street. Wait a second. You've walked by here dozens of times. Abba and Don Printing Company sits to the left, bordered by an empty lot to the right. In fact, you passed by here just last week. How could this store have been constructed in just a week? An odd feeling nags at the back of your head, but the thoughts of your little sister quickly shoo it away. Composing yourself as best as you can, you grab the golden knob before you and enter the shop.
You finally arrived, though I don't think you originally intended to.
The voice is calm and smooth, yet it still fills you with dread. You eye the man behind the counter, his gaze piercing and direct. Trying to avoid contact, you avert your gaze to the gaudy display around him. What a store! Gold-plated dishes, bird cages occupied by colorful creatures, tusks and skulls hanging from the walls. This place is incredibly packed. You step up toward the man and plop the yellow piece of paper on the counter. Without even glancing at it, he motions for you to follow him through a curtained door behind him.
I'll have this shipped to the residence on the other side of the cove. From what I understand, construction should be completed, so housing won't be a problem.
Construction? Housing? You're not really sure what he's talking about, but you nod in understanding as you're led to a large metal tank. On the front of the tank is a small window showing the salty water within.
It must be fed twice a day. Any variety of fish will do, but don't let it convince you to eat anything else. They're devious creatures, and they'll do anything to persuade you to eat what they want. Personally, I wouldn't go swimming with it either. They're known to react poorly to fear and negative emotion.
You look closer in on the window. Is there a shark in there? What on earth would need such a large tank?
Oh, and most importantly, always wear these when in its presence. No exceptions.
The man hands you what looks like 2 earplugs. You take them, still confused by this whole thing, and slip them into your pocket. Continuing to look into the window, your heart suddenly leaps as you catch a glimpse of the creature inside. That hair, those eyes, that face. It's your sister. But somehow she's sporting a scaly fishtail instead of legs. A costume, perhaps? She somersaults in the water, nodding her head towards you, as she then disappears into the back of the tank.
Oh, I assure you, it's not who you think. My friend, this is a mermaid. They're conniving and dangerous, but when treated properly, they make for great companions. You must always show it that you're the boss. Don't let it fool you.
You can't even speak. That was your sister. You know it. That assuring nod was all the proof you needed. You don't know how, and you don't know why. But she's here in this tank, and that's all you could ever wish for. The delivery was surprisingly simple, and even more surprising was the fact that your sister's home already had a large indoor pool constructed and filled with salt water.
Oh, jeez, bud. That's a wicked, weird-looking fish you got in there. Hope you've got enough to feed it.
The delivery man looks visibly shaken as he climbs back into the large truck. Trying your best not to take offense to the man's assessment, you wave him off as you step back toward the large house. Another rogue tear spills down your cheek, though this time, its source is that of overwhelming joy. With your earplugs wedged in and a bag of raw fish in your hand, you enter the enormous glass-windowed room, your sister splashing and swimming about. Then, as she catches sight of you, she begins to sing a magnificent song. Your heart nearly melts at the sound. What a beautiful song. She motions towards you, inviting you into the pool as well. Reluctantly, you shake your head and dump the bag of fish instead. You would swim with her. You really would. But you're not dressed for a swim. Perhaps another time. She smiles sweetly and continues singing, elegantly weaving through the water and slurping up the fish as she passes. Come on. What is this all about? The tall man next to you asks as you lead him into the glass room. I'm supposed to be excited about something you picked up at the pet store? His words suddenly cut off as he stands at the edge of the pool. You smile wide as your sister sings at the sight of you. You knew Kyle would be stunned. After all, his fiancée was back. Now the wedding could be back on. What is... Kyle stammers as he clambers backwards. He clutches his ear as what looks like blood begins to spill out of it. Then, in an instant, he sprints out of the room and out into the driveway. How could you forget? He doesn't have the earplugs. The song's frequency must be too much without them. Embarrassed, you head out toward him to apologize. Where did you find that thing? Thing? Does he not realize who this is? Despite an admittedly huge change, it was still your sister, the woman he loved. How can he not realize this? The corner of Kiln and Cook. I've never been there, but that doesn't matter. I need to call someone. Don't show me that ever again. Kyle quickly hops into his car and peels out of the driveway, his face a mixture of disgust and fear. What just happened? The song. What a wonderful, beautiful song. You gaze in awe as you continue to watch your ecstatic sister splash around. Then, like before, she motions for you to join her in the pool. However, this time, you oblige. You slowly step down into the pool, your clothes soaking up the salt water like a sponge. She almost looks giddy as she swims towards you, and within seconds, she's inches away from you, her hands outstretched.
Open up in there! Hey, open up!
You ignore the banging at your door as your sister's cold arms wrap around you.
This is the Uncanny Cove Police. For your safety, we need you to exit the pool.
You glance backwards toward the edge of the pool to find 3 officers with guns drawn. Your sister then gently grabs your face, turning your gaze back toward her as she sings again. The officers recoil in pain as they collapse on the floor, writhing from the sounds. How could this beautiful song be that painful without earplugs? Smiling, your sister slides her hands to your ears. You grab them, worried she might remove the plugs. However, her reassuring smile causes you to drop your hands back to your sides, allowing her to tenderly remove the plugs. As you stare at your sister, that beautiful song slowly comes into focus as your ears adjust to the shrill sounds. This noise, this song, it's... can't even form a thought. The disturbing sounds penetrate your ears with great force as your breaths grow heavy. Terrified, You wade backwards away from the creature in front of you. Its once familiar face is now replaced with a toothy, wide-eyed, barely humanoid-looking fish. Its black, beady stare glues to you as it grabs a hold of your shoulders with its scaly hands. Then all at once, it opens its mouth wide, the gaping hole large and dark. As you peer into the darkness, you catch a glimmer of something resting in its throbbing gullet. It's a hand. And on its finger, an engagement ring. You're sure you're screaming, but the sounds of the creature's cries drown it out. Your wading quickly becomes paddling as the mouth closes around your legs, pulling you backwards and deeper into the pool. Before you can struggle anymore, there's a sharp pain in your abdomen and your body somersaults forward in the water. Your legs, your torso, they're gone. The disturbing sounds cease as you slowly go into shock. What remains of your body gently floating toward the edge of the pool. The only things you can hear before your sight fades are the splashes of water and one of the officers' radios by the pool.
Come in, come in. We've checked the corner of Kiln and Cook. There's nothing here. Repeat, there's nothing here. You have the wrong address? Come in. Come in, come in. You hear me?